Why don't we see Hale Irwin in the spotlight anymore? His tough attitude and blunt focus on money over the game's integrity raised plenty of eyebrows and stirred up media buzz. While his achievements are undeniable, his behavior may have cast a shadow over his legacy, leaving fans and critics alike to wonder if it ultimately pushed him out of the public eye. His personality often rubbed people the wrong way. Some players found him to be a bit aloof, distant, and even grumpy at times. It wasn't that he was mean or malicious, but his intense competitive spirit and laser-like focus on the game sometimes came across as cold or unapproachable. For a lot of people, this unfriendly behavior created a bit of distance between him and his peers. On top of that, the media didn't always paint him in the most flattering light. Golf is a sport often associated with grace, sportsmanship, and a kind of quiet dignity. But Irwin's drive to win sometimes made him seem almost too serious or overly focused on the end result. His attitude wasn't always the warmest, and that left some people feeling like he was more interested in the competition than in the camaraderie of the game. Then, there were his comments about why he played the game. Irwin was very open about his financial goals, saying that he was playing golf primarily for the money. This was not something you often heard from athletes in a sport like golf, where passion for the game is usually a big part of the narrative. Golf has a reputation for being a sport rooted in integrity, tradition, and love for the game. So when Irwin made these remarks, it raised a few eyebrows. Some fans and commentators questioned whether his focus on money was appropriate or if it conflicted with the ideals of the sport. After all, many people view athletes as role models, and hearing someone talk openly about money over the love of the game didn't exactly sit well with everyone. Of course, these comments weren't the scandalous kind of remarks that would make front-page news for days. They were more of a mild controversy, something that made people stop and think, but not something that completely overshadowed his career. Still, there was a sense that Irwin's words didn't quite match up with the image of the humble, passionate golfer that many fans expected. His attitude wasn't the only thing that sparked debate. Even his victories were sometimes controversial. Irwin's first U.S. Open victory in 1974 at Winged Foot became a bit of a contentious chapter in golf history. The course that year was set up in an extremely tough way, with thick, rough, fast greens and narrow fairways, making it a brutal test for even the best golfers. Many players felt that the USGA had deliberately made the course too difficult, and there was a strong belief that this was a response to Johnny Miller's incredible performance the year before, when he shot a record-breaking 63 in the final round of the U.S. Open. The buzz around Irwin's win wasn't about his talent or his performance, but rather the circumstances surrounding it. Irwin finished the tournament with a score of 7 over par, which was quite high for a U.S. Open champion, especially considering the low scores we usually see in major golf events. In fact, it remains one of the highest winning scores in relation to par in U.S. Open history. This sparked a lot of conversation and criticism, with many feeling that the USGA was more concerned about protecting par and making sure the course was incredibly tough, rather than creating a fair challenge for all players. The criticism around Irwin's victory wasn't directed at him, of course, but at the decisions made by the USGA, who seemed more interested in making the tournament a test of endurance than a true showcase of golf talent. While Irwin's win was historic, it was also surrounded by a cloud of doubt. The tough setup left a bad taste for many in the golfing community, and the debate about whether the USGA had gone too far that year is still remembered. It was a win that raised more questions about the nature of the U.S. Open and the role of the USGA in determining how the tournament is played. His style of play added to his already distant nature and blunt remarks. Irwin had a reputation for being extremely meticulous and deliberate when it came to his approach to the game. He wasn't one to rush his shots, and he always took the time to carefully consider every aspect of his game. While this approach certainly worked for him and helped him achieve great success, not everyone appreciated it. Some people started to view his pace of play as a bit slow, especially when it seemed like he was taking longer than most of his competitors to line up his shots or make decisions. Now, slow play has been a long-standing issue in golf, something that many players, fans, and officials have debated for years. It's a fine line. On one hand, golfers need time to think about their strategy and execute their shots properly. But on the other hand, taking too long can disrupt the flow of the game, annoy fellow players, and even test the patience of spectators who want to see action. In Irwin's case, his methodical approach sometimes sparked frustration among his fellow competitors, who were eager to keep things moving. And let's face it, when you're waiting around for a player to take their time, it can be a bit grating, especially during a high-stakes tournament. Despite being an effective strategy for Irwin, his slower pace was often called out, both by other players and by the media. It wasn't necessarily that people thought he was doing it on purpose to throw off his opponents, but the constant focus on him taking longer to make decisions didn't help his image. But the slow play didn't always work. Sometimes it created a mental lapse that could cost a game. In 1983, Irwin came incredibly close to winning the Open Championship, but one small ultimately cost him the chance to play in a playoff with Tom Watson for the title. He lost by just one stroke to Watson, and it all came down to a very short putt he missed during the third round. It wasn't a long, tricky putt, just a simple, makeable one, but under the pressure of the moment, he couldn't sink it. This missed putt didn't just mark a lost opportunity for Irwin, it sparked a much larger conversation about the mental side of professional golf. His missed putt became a symbol of the mental struggles that every professional golfer faces, no matter how skilled they are. For fans, it was a reminder that even the most seasoned pros are vulnerable to mistakes, especially when they're trying to deal with the immense pressure of major championships. Irwin was born in Missouri and raised in Kansas and Colorado. He started golfing at age 4, excelled in football, baseball, and golf in high school, and won the NCAA Golf Championship in 1967. He had a remarkable career in golf, marked by incredible consistency and impressive victories. He turned professional in 1968 with his first PGA Tour win, coming in 1971. Irwin dominated the 1974 and 1975 Piccadilly World Match Play Championships, but a chance at a third win slipped away in 1976 when he lost to David Graham. From 1975 to 1978, he made 86 consecutive cuts on the PGA Tour, a streak that still stands as one of the longest in history. Irwin's standout achievements include 2 U.S. Open victories, the second in 1979 at Inverness Club. His 1990 U.S. Open win at 45 made him the oldest champion, securing his third title in a dramatic playoff. Throughout his career, he won tournaments on every continent and played in 5 Ryder Cups. He was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1992. His final win came in 1994 at nearly 49 years old. In 1995, Irwin joined the over 50 Senior PGA Tour and found even more success than he had on the regular tour. He became the career leader in wins and earnings, with 45 victories and over $26 million by 2021. He won 3 consecutive PGA Seniors championships from 1996 to 1998, including a massive 12-stroke win in 1997. He also claimed the U.S. Senior Open titles in 1998 and 2000. Even into his 60s, Irwin continued to play at a high level, even shooting his age 44 times. In 2000, Golf Digest ranked him 19th among the greatest golfers of all time. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.